Gemini, you can feel it without needing proof. The atmosphere around you has shifted in a way that's subtle, almost quiet, but impossible to deny. It shows up in the way someone answers you now. It shows up in the pauses that were not there before. It shows up in the way their actions speak louder than any explanation they could ever offer. And even when your mind tries to rationalize it into something harmless, your spirit keeps leaning in, repeating the same truth in a softer language. A goodbye is approaching. Before we go deeper, anchor this message to your energy. Comment your date of birth and your zodiac sign below, not as a trend, but as a signal to your own soul that you are present, awake, and ready to receive what is meant for you. Because this goodbye is not always someone slamming a door or creating a dramatic exit. Sometimes it is a quiet withdrawal. Sometimes it is the unmistakable knowing that a chapter has completed itself. A realization that what used to make perfect sense no longer fits the person you are becoming. It might be a relationship. It might be a friendship. It might be a habit you have outgrown. It might even be an old version of you, the one that stayed silent to keep everyone comfortable, the one that talked itself out of its own truth just to keep the peace. One thing is clear, Gemini. The season you're in is changing, and what is misaligned cannot follow you into what God and the universe are building next. If you're here for these messages and you want to stay connected as your season shifts, subscribe to Astro Gemini. Not just for motivation, but so you don't have to walk through this realignment feeling alone, especially when your thoughts move fast and your heart still needs somewhere steady to land. What once felt like home can start to feel like a room with air that no longer circulates. What once comforted you can begin to drain you. The familiar can start to feel heavy, and that can be frightening. Because Gemini, you are loyal in your own way. Even with a restless mind, you don't let go easily when your heart has truly attached. You try to fix things with words. You try to repair the energy with understanding. You try to keep the bridge standing, even when the other person stops walking toward you. You replay moments, rewrite sentences, search for the one perfect explanation that will bring warmth back. But this is not happening because you failed. This is happening because you are evolving. This is happening because you are growing. This is happening because life is shifting the ground beneath your feet to guide you somewhere higher. So listen closely. This is not rejection. This is realignment. You do not have to understand the full blueprint today. You only have to trust that what's leaving your life is no longer part of the future that has your name on it. Some goodbyes feel confusing at first, and later you realize they were answers to prayers you barely remember whispering. The quiet kind you spoke with your eyes open at night, when you admitted you were tired of carrying mixed signals like they were normal. If someone is drifting, if something is pulling away, if you feel a distance that words cannot close, do not chase. Do not panic. Do not shrink yourself to fit. Breathe. Pause. Let the goodbye do what it came to do. And in the comments, write this with faith as a decision, not as a plea. I trust what's leaving me is making space for something divine. Say it like a spiritual agreement. Write it like you are choosing alignment over attachment, even if your heart still trembles. There are moments when your soul speaks before your thoughts can catch up. You don't always hear it the way you hear a voice, but you feel it as a quiet discomfort, a gentle unease, like something is loosening even while everything looks the same on the outside. Gemini, your mind is brilliant, but even brilliance cannot silence intuition forever. Your inner world is like wind moving through a house, slipping under doors, finding every crack. It notices what people try to hide. It picks up on what they avoid saying out loud. Lately, the connection that once felt effortless may feel distant. They are still present technically, but the energy is not. Conversations don't flow like they used to. The laughter feels thinner. The warmth feels inconsistent. You find yourself putting in more effort just to keep something alive that no longer breathes on its own. You send a long message and receive a short reply. You offer curiosity and get vagueness. You bring light and feel it swallowed by heaviness. And you can't fully prove it, but you know it because your spirit is not guessing anymore. And sometimes, Gemini, the goodbye isn't even about another person. Sometimes it's about you. It's about an older version of you that kept adjusting your truth to be easier to digest. A version of you that over-explained your feelings so you would not be misunderstood. A version of you that turned your needs into jokes just to keep the atmosphere pleasant. A version of you that gave and gave because being needed felt like being loved, and being loved felt like being safe. But now that version feels heavy to carry. Your spirit is tired of performing for belonging. This shift forming inside you is not random, and it is not your imagination. It is spiritually permitted. Life has a way of gently removing what no longer matches your growth, not because you weren't enough, but because you are being redirected. The universe has watched what you tolerated. It has seen the weight you carried while smiling, the times you stayed upbeat even when your heart was bruised, the times you translated your pain into, "I'm fine, so nobody would worry." And now it's moving you away from anything that keeps you small. It often begins quietly. A few missed calls, a delayed response, a change in tone that is hard to prove but impossible to ignore. That strange feeling in your chest after you leave their presence, like your spirit is more exhausted than before. That is the whisper, soft but sacred, telling you to release while your hands are still whole. Because Gemini, some endings arrive as mercy. Not every goodbye comes with tears and drama. Some come as clarity. Some come as the simple truth that you no longer feel emotionally safe in the same place. And that is not punishment. That is preparation. You are being called into a new season, and this season requires alignment. People, habits, and environments that pour into you, not just pull from you. So if something is slipping away, let it unfold. Let your soul lead. What is leaving now is making space for what is meant to stay, and when it stays, it will not require you to decode it like a puzzle. Divine timing works this way. Before a blessing takes shape, before a door opens that changes everything, God often allows something to end first. And at first it can feel unfair, like life is taking away what mattered right when you were finally ready to breathe again. But this is not rejection, it is redirection. That door you're watching close might be filled with memories that once made your heart feel light. It might carry dreams you thought would last forever. It might hold promises that sounded sacred. But if it no longer matches the person you are becoming, it cannot remain in your path. Some people were meant to be part of your preparation, not your destination. They walked with you through storms and silence, through private pain you never posted about, through chapters that made you stronger. But their role was to guide you to the gate, not to enter the next room with you. This moment is not measuring how much love you have. It is revealing how much faith you carry. Faith to believe that even when something good leaves, something better can be sent. Faith to trust that release can lead to healing. Faith to understand that your heart can ache and still be blessed afterward. You can't carry the old into the new, not this time. Letting go does not mean you lost. It means you made space. It means you chose peace over pressure. It means you trusted that God sees what you cannot see, including what's happening behind your back, inside someone's half-hearted intentions, inside the quiet ways they stopped honoring you. And the signs aren't always loud. Many goodbyes don't start with someone announcing, "I'm leaving." They start with a shift you can feel. You begin to feel out of place, even while standing next to someone you used to feel close to. You pull back, not from anger, but from self-protection. Your spirit doesn't feel safe anymore, and you can't pretend it does. You notice that conversations you once looked forward to now leave you tired. You begin to see patterns you used to ignore. The same little disappointments, the same tension beneath the surface, the same feeling of being misunderstood or unseen or valued only when you're useful. What once felt light now feels heavy. God doesn't always remove people in one dramatic moment. Sometimes He lets them linger long enough for you to recognize the truth for yourself. Because clarity is powerful. Because sometimes He wants you to choose yourself. He wants you to feel the weight and admit the season is ending, not with noise, but with awareness. You might even feel it in your body. Your nervous system gets alert around certain people. Your thoughts start spinning after simple interactions because something feels off. Your dreams get strange, full of symbols, messages, feelings you can't explain. You wake up with a quiet sense that something has changed, even though nothing obvious happened. You sit beside the same person, but the silence between you grows louder. That is what happens when something is expiring. It stops nourishing your soul. It no longer brings peace. It feels inconsistent. It feels unsafe. It feels like you're surviving instead of living. And your soul always knows. It speaks through restlessness, resistance, and that gentle ache in your chest. That is not confusion. That is divine direction. The most painful part isn't always the moment someone leaves. Sometimes the deeper pain is what happens when you try to hold on too long, when everything in your spirit is saying release, and your mind keeps bargaining for one more attempt. You might tell yourself that if you try again, it will go back to how it was. You might believe that if you give more patience, more understanding, more softness, they'll show up the way they used to. But when someone's heart has already stepped back, no amount of giving can force their presence to return fully. It becomes like pouring love into a jar with cracks. No matter how much you pour, it keeps leaking. And slowly, you're the one who ends up empty. You weren't created to chase emotional survival. You were created to walk in peace. But when you keep forcing yourself to stay where your soul is shrinking, you start losing parts of yourself that were never meant to be sacrificed. Sleep becomes lighter. Confidence becomes shaky. You begin questioning your worth. You start taking blame for what is really just an ending season. Letting go hurts. Yes, it can feel like your heart is being pulled between attachment and truth. But staying too long in a place where your spirit is shrinking is the slow heartbreak. Sometimes your soul doesn't want to fix it anymore. It wants to be free. It wants to breathe. It wants to rest, not in fear, but in peace. You deserve love that doesn't make you guess. You deserve to be understood without repeating your pain over and over. You deserve to feel safe in someone's presence without earning attention like it's a reward. If this message is already speaking to you, take a second right now and gently like the video. Not just for the algorithm, do it as a small act of agreement with your own healing, a sign that you're choosing clarity and peace. Not every goodbye is a loss. Some goodbyes are gifts from God disguised as disappointment. They arrive wrapped in sadness and confusion. So at first you think something is being taken from you, but that exit may actually be protecting you from something you can't see yet. God sees everything. He hears what's said in public and what's whispered in private. He sees hearts, even when smiles look warm. Some people were near you, but not for the right reasons. They liked what you offered, your intelligence, your flexibility, your charm, your ability to keep things light. They enjoyed your comfort while quietly draining your peace. So no, Gemini, you didn't lose something valuable. You lost an illusion. You lost a version of yourself that kept saying yes while your soul was screaming no. You didn't lose them. They lost the version of you that excused their behavior. They lost the version of you that accepted crumbs while hoping one day they'd bring a full meal. When God prepares a new season, He doesn't only add. He subtracts what cannot grow with you. He removes distractions dressed as comfort. He breaks illusions so you stop settling. He clears noise so you can finally hear His guidance clearly. That goodbye wasn't meant to break you. It was meant to clear the space so blessings that were delayed can finally reach you. You are being aligned with peace that stays, love that feels like safety, friendships that lift instead of drain, and paths that match your purpose. There will be a moment when the goodbye stops being a quiet feeling and becomes undeniable. When that moment comes, let yourself feel it. Let your heart release what it's been holding back. But don't let pain convince you that you're broken. You are not breaking. You are being renewed. This is a shedding, a spiritual release, a separating of what no longer fits your future. Think of Gemini's nature, the twins, the sacred duality that holds both thought and intuition, both logic and feeling, both movement and stillness. Your gift has always been your ability to adapt, to learn, to translate life into meaning. But your lesson is to stop adapting to what diminishes you, to stop translating disrespect into excuses, to choose what feeds your spirit, not what simply keeps your mind busy. When the sky turns gray, you do not have to collapse. Ground yourself, not in control, not in blame, but in presence. Return to simple practices that let your soul breathe. Walk slowly, breathe deeply, Sit in stillness long enough to hear yourself again. Clean your space with intention, like you're clearing energy, not just dust. Light a candle. Speak to God in your own words. No performance, no perfect sentence, only honesty. Tell him what hurts. Tell him what you're afraid to release. Then listen. Comfort often comes quietly, not as a booming answer, but as a calm that begins returning when you thought it was gone. Don't run from the pain of goodbye, but don't build your home inside it either. Let it pass through you. Let it do what it came to do. Then let it leave. You were not created to be destroyed by endings. You were created to stand through them, to walk out wiser, softer, stronger, more aligned. After the goodbye, something beautiful begins to grow. Healing arrives slowly, gently, and with purpose. One morning, you'll wake up and realize your breathing feels easier. The heaviness that used to sit in your chest starts to lift. The ache that made your evenings feel endless turns into stillness. Not emptiness, but peace. You'll still remember. You might still think about what you lost, but one day you'll notice you didn't spiral this time. You remembered with calm instead of pain. You stopped checking your phone for a message that used to matter. You stop rehearsing conversations in your mind, trying to rewrite what already happened. You begin to laugh again. Real laughter. The kind that feels like coming home to yourself. Healing does not shout. It does not rush. It moves quietly, like dawn creeping across the sky. Healing is not proof you didn't care. Healing is proof you're learning to live again without chains. Sometimes God allows a person to walk away so he can walk in closer. When he enters, he doesn't bring confusion, he brings peace that doesn't even make logical sense. You begin to understand that not everything was meant to stay, and that's okay. What remains and what comes next will be better aligned with who you are becoming. Gemini, healing is not forgetting. It's remembering without bleeding. It's moving forward without guilt. It's breathing deeper without fear. This goodbye isn't your ending. It's your turning point. So let go with faith, not fear. This is not failure. This is completion. You did your part. You gave what you could. You stayed long enough to know the truth. And now something higher is calling. Something gentler, steadier, more aligned with the person you are becoming. If this message touched something in your heart, go to the comments and write, "I trust what's leaving me is making space for something divine." Write it like a promise to your future self. Write it like a quiet prayer. And if you felt seen here, subscribe to Astro Gemini right now and stay close. This space is for hearts that are healing, for souls that are shifting, for people learning how to release with faith instead of fear. You are not alone, Gemini. You are being realigned. Before you go, don't forget to like this video. It helps this message reach the Gemini who needs it most. And if you have not subscribed yet, subscribe to Astro Gemini now, because your next season deserves support, not silence. If you want to hear everything the universe has to say to you, watch these other videos on our channel.